Right, you can see that my head position is still not ideal in this situation. So now, once we've done the correction of the chest by lifting the sternum up, the rest is the retraction of the chin. So if we look at the head, a lot of people have been stuck so long in forward head posture that the vertebrae in the lower cervical spine are stuck. So even when they try and lift upright, they're not getting to a full alignment position. So it's common when first learning to correct forward head posture in these situations for the individual to, when attempting to retract the chin, to actually extend the neck. Now this is not what we want to do, because if you have an area of increased curvature in the neck at one point, when you naturally extend your head, you're going to want to rotate off of those segments that are already excessively extended. So if I exaggerate this, it would be similar to doing this. Whereas in these situations, most individuals will report a pinching feeling in the neck. Why? Because of the excessive extension and the lack of range of motion they're getting, because they're hinging off of that one group of segments that are already extended too far. So the correction is to make sure you lift your chest up and you look at the line of your face as if it was parallel to the floor. So if you keep your head parallel to the floor, your eyes maintaining horizontal gaze, and you retract your chin straight back, you can see the noticeable flattening of the upper cervical spine. So by lifting the chest up, we've helped flatten the lower part, and by retracting the chin straight back, we've flattened the upper part. So just as this is true with the lower back, a lot of that bulging is coming because the neck is in misalignment and we have pressures leaning on one side of the spine versus the other, thus perpetuating the motion of the disc into that direction. Okay, so for here we've lifted the chest up, I've retracted the chin. Now this might be uncomfortable at first for some people, particularly if you have lost range of motion back here in your neck for long periods of time. I never ever suggest going into a pain zone, but you want to retract as far as you can. If you start to feel pain, then you just come out of it about 5 or 10%. So the mobilization at that point is just chin retraction. It's lift the chest up, retract the chin to a comfort zone, being careful not to tip your head back into extension, but rather just keeping a horizontal gaze. And also a nice little cue is to imagine not letting the occiput, the bone on the back of the skull here, to drop back toward your shoulders, but instead to attempt to lift it. So if you're lifting and retracting, that gets the neck into a proper retraction position. We hold for a few seconds and then we can relax without letting the chest drop. So we want to condition to keeping the chest up, retracting straight back, holding, and then relaxing. Now part 2 of this motion, once the situation is improved, and this can be anywhere from right away to a number of sessions to maybe even a couple of weeks, a little bit of extension may be added to this. So in this position, we've lifted the chest, we've retracted. Now our head is in an ideal position where we can begin to extend back. So we go all the way into the retraction to the point, of course, where there's no pain, and then we begin to tip back only as far as you can comfortably go. And when we do this, we keep the jaw closed, and it may even be helpful to keep the tongue compressed against the top of the roof of the mouth, the position that it's at when you swallow. So tongue is up, retraction, tip back to a comfort point, back down to neutral, and then relax the head. So by here we're realigning the cervical vertebrae and extending back, taking pressure off of the anterior portion of the neck so that we can allow movement to happen, and gliding, proper motion can be restored in the neck to reestablish good spinal biomechanics. This process can be repeated as often as necessary, many times throughout the day, as long as there is no pain associated to the motion. And for most people, this is going to take a pretty good amount of corrections. Now, with that, again, to going back to the beginning, let's imagine that we have a translation happening in the neck. Perhaps the C1 vertebrae is subluxed, or we have an elevated shoulder, a trapezius that's in spasm, etc. Obviously, now you can understand why, if we're into this position, if I attempt to retract into this position, my head is not actually, my neck vertebrae are not stacked correctly. They're actually stacked sideways, like blocks that that are half stacked on top of each other. If you attempt to retract in that position, it can provoke symptoms or even cause increased pain due to compression and movement of the disc. So in that situation, it may be necessary to do corrections to the opposite direction, making that motion to getting yourself back to neutral and then retracting straight back. Now that portion is not as simple as it looks. That may require chiropractic work or the assistance of a qualified upper cervical doctor in order to be able to realign your neck out of that translated position so you can begin to do your exercises into retraction. So that's some of the corrective procedures, the basics for looking at correcting the misalignments of the neck. And again, this is Sam Visnick from EndYourBackPainNow.com, and thanks for watching.